Instagram followers. Happy Hum Day, my Facebook users, YouTube members, LinkedIn members. Thank you for joining me once again for our weekly Wednesday Facebook Live tutorial. Seems like a long time that I haven't seen you. Since last week, I was at a conference and wasn't able to teach live. Hello, Events by Kcraft. Thank you for joining me on Instagram. And if you are joining me for the very first time and you don't know who I am, my name is May Yo Silvers. I am the owner of M2 Hospitality, a multiple six-figure profit event planning company, and also the founder, event mentor, and coach for Events for Anyone, where we provide a mentorship program to help event planners like you to start and grow your event planning company into a multiple six-figure profit business. Quite a few of you are joining me on Instagram, and if you're joining me on Facebook, just make sure you click on the StreamYard link so I can see your name. If not, just type your name, okay? Okay, so we have some familiar faces here on Instagram. Hey, Joannie. So we have Dainty Touch NYC, Decorating Divas. I know who you two are. And thank you for joining me during your lunchtime. So I am not going to wait anymore because I know some of you are joining me during your work hours. And I want to take advantage when I still have the internet. It's pouring rain over here. So hopefully I do not lose any internet. Okay. Don't know how many of you actually managed to catch the video that I dropped last Wednesday, where I teach you how to, in that video, I taught you how to audit your to-do list. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you watch that video inside the guides tab under mindset and productivity. Basically, I teach you how to prioritize things. So whatever is on that list should be on that list, okay? A lot of times we don't finish our to-do list is because some of the things shouldn't be on that list. So I taught you a thought process to follow so you know exactly what needs to be on that list. So today's conversation, it's almost like a continuation of our last week's session. So again, if you're joining me on Facebook, I can see some eyeballs here. Don't be shy, say hi. So I know you're joining me here. So same thing for YouTube and LinkedIn. Okay, so today's session, we are going to talk about, what is the strategy that I use whenever I decide to tackle a new task. Okay, so let's just put use business as an example. Okay, and you are just starting your business, or you have been in business for a while, but you want to take on a certain new strategy to grow your business. So every time we think about, okay, let's try this. Okay, let's tackle this task. We have a lot of excitement, right? It's because you know that, oh, this task is going to help me increase my business. Okay, let's just say starting your own social media. How about that? Okay, starting your social media account, creating content for your social media. So let's just use this as an example. This is the new challenge because you have never done this before. Let's just assume that. But this whole thought process that I'm teaching you can be used for anything, even in your personal life. Okay, so for this tutorial, we are going to just use this as an example. Okay, you're going to start promoting your business using social media. All right, so you are excited about that thought, especially if you just join your mentorship program and your coach tells you that, okay, you got to be more visible. So one of the ways to be more visible is using social media. So you're thinking, oh, yes, I think that's a good idea. What? You're very excited because you want to promote your business, you want to be able to get leads, and you want to be able to make sales. So you're very excited about the whole idea of doing something for your business to gain momentum for your business. But then after the excitement immediately follows the thought of fear of failure and overwhelmed. How am I going to do this? Right? I don't know how to do that. I'm not good on social media. And what am I going to write? Who am I going to, how am I going to promote? Or what am I going to, who am I going to, who is going to actually see my content? All these thoughts come into your head. So a lot of fear, a lot of doubts, a lot of, I don't know, should I actually do this? So you have a sense of overwhelm as well. So you start with excitement, and then it's coupled by overwhelm. Very natural, okay? I just want you to know those emotions are extremely natural. So do not feel that you are not capable of doing it, okay? Do not feel that you're not up for it, you're not capable of doing it. I just want you to know it is very natural, okay? Hey, Aaron, didn't expect you to join me on Instagram. So I want you to acknowledge the excitement, and acknowledge the sense of fear, overwhelm, hesitation. Okay. So now we're going to go through the step-by-step process that I use. I actually went in detail about this when we had our in-person event in December, as I was prepping the people who came to our in-person event in December, the goals for 2023 and how you're going to achieve those goals. So I went through this whole thought process. So I thought that it probably is a very good content for me to teach here as well. So the very first thing is you want to be able to identify, okay, this is the task that I want to do. Okay, this is the task that I want to take on, which is start my social media, create my social media presence. So once you identify that task, I want you to write down either on a piece of paper or write down or type it on your phone, or however you take notes, okay, to see actually the process. It has to be visual, okay? It has to be visual. I have done this so many times. I don't really have to write it, because this becomes like a habit for me. So it becomes very natural. So I'm teaching you a new way of thinking, okay, which will then hopefully become a habit. So it becomes part of your life. So it becomes your second nature, okay? So you want to be able to write down that task. What exactly is that task? Okay, create a social media presence, okay? So create social media presence, right? Then you are going to ask yourself, why? Why do you want to tackle this task? Is extremely important. Hey, Freya, thank you for joining me on Facebook. So by the way, this week I'm going to send out all the prizes for the workshop winners. Okay, I'm just waiting for some more addresses to come in. So I want you to actually write down, okay, that task, and I want you to write down the why you want to do that task, okay? And I don't want it to be like a broad why. I want you to be so clear about, if I were to do this task, how is that going to impact my business and my personal life? If I don't do this task, how is that going to impact my business and my personal life? Be extremely clear. So I'm going to use this social media as an example. If I were to create social media presence, the potential outcome is more people will know about me. I have brand visibility. People know what I do. People may be interested to want to hire me to do their events. So I create an income, and the income is going to help me in growing my business, and also create another step towards financial freedom for myself and my family, right? This is your why if you were to execute this task. Now, over here, what happens if you do not execute this task? You must see it so clearly when you write this down. If I don't execute this task of creating social media presence, that means nobody will know what I do, okay, what services I offer. Nobody will know my company, who I am, who I help, what I'm capable of doing. If they can't find me, how are they going to book me? If I don't get any bookings, that means I don't have any money coming into the business. That means the business is stagnant. That means the business can't grow. That means you will not have income coming in, which means you are not moving closer to your financial freedom goal. Okay, so you want to be able to see these two. If you were to do it, what would be the end result? If you don't do it, what would be the end result? So now you have a clear understanding of your why. Hey, Helen, hopefully you're feeling better. So now you have a clear understanding of your why. Everybody follow me so far? Okay, Facebook saying hello. Hi, I don't know what's your name because you didn't click on the StreamYard link. So make sure you type your name. Hello, Facebook user. Okay, so everybody is clear about this step, right? Identify the task and then after write down the why. If I were to do it, this is the result. If I don't do it, this is the result. So after you have identified your why, the next question you're going to ask is, what are the resources? Okay, what resources are needed? What is the current resources that I have that can, hey Glarish, thank you for joining me. What are the current resources that I have that can help me achieve this task? Okay, so when I talk about current resources, I'm not just talking about the surface things that you can see. I also want you to discover what are the underlying things that you actually have this resource, but you may not be identifying it right now. So when I say surface, that means things that you can actually see, tangible. So what do you need to create a social media presence? First, you need to create a social media account, right? Do you have the skills to create a social media account? If you are tech savvy, then yeah, no problem. Okay. Or do you know somebody who can teach you how to create a social media account? Okay. And do you have any ideas what to write for your social media content? Okay. So do you have a business plan that is guiding you what services that you want to offer and who's your target audience? And then you will know how to create the content for the target audience. Do you already have a solidified offer, okay, that you can offer? So these are the things, surface things that you can see. Okay. So then what are not surface things, resources that you don't see? So you have to ask yourself, what does it take for me to execute these tasks apart from just the skill set? Okay, apart from just the skill set, what are my strengths that I can utilize to execute this task? Am I creative enough and resourceful enough to go online to find out what people need, what people want to learn, so I can create a content for them? Am I resourceful? Yes. Am I good with my time management to actually carve out a time in my day, in my week, to create social media content? Yes. Am I someone who is very resilient and don't give up when I don't see anybody engaging in my social media? Will I be bothered about it? Yes or no? Okay. So you want to identify things that's probably things that are closely related to your inner work. Okay. Who you are as a person. So basically your personality traits, okay, your strengths and your weaknesses. So you want to be able to identify that, because a lot of times the physical things are secondary. You may have the strategy or the skill set to do it, but if you don't have discipline, okay, the skill set is the surface resource. But if you don't have the discipline and you are not deeply rooted to your why and you give up easily, that means you may have challenge when you're executing this task. Okay, so be very intentional when you write down these things. Okay, like what are the resources that I have that can help me execute this task? Then you're going to go to the next step. What are the resources that I need that I do not currently have that can help me execute this task? Such as you recognize that I am not tech savvy. Okay, I don't know how to create a social media account. So you are going to say, you're going to start thinking for a solution. When you identify a challenge, okay, or a problem, you need to start training yourself to look for solution, because this is the law of polarity. Okay, when you have a problem, there's always a solution. Hey, Renee, there's always a solution. So when you identify the problem, I'm not tech savvy. I don't know how to create a social media account. Okay, where do I go to create a social media account? How do I create a Facebook business page? How do I create an Instagram business page? How do I create a Pinterest account? Things like that, right? So you can write down all these things that you don't think you have. That means you don't have the skill set yet to do it. But then don't just write down things that you don't have without writing a solution next to it. You want to be able to write a solution next to it, okay? Oh, I don't know how to create a Facebook business page, all right? So you don't have that technical skills. So go, what is the solution? Ask somebody who have a Facebook business page, all right, in a community, your friends, your family. How do you do that? Ask for help. Or let me go Google, YouTube, how to start a Facebook business page. You want to be able to identify those, because when we're thinking, we don't write this down, when we're just thinking about the problem, sometimes we just get stuck and overwhelmed with the problem. But if we write this down and we identify the problem and we write the solution next to the problem, you no longer feel stuck, because now you're training your mind to be solution driven and not problem, and not just be stuck in your problem. Okay, so the surface things, all right, now what are the underneath resources that you need that you don't see? Do I have the time? Do I have the time to do it myself? Okay, do I have the time to do it myself? Am I afraid to show up on social media? I don't like my face. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. I mean, am I good enough? Okay, imposter syndrome. All right, fear of rejection, poor time management. Those are the internal, not the surface problem that you can identify. You want to write that down first. And I will tell you, when you write down those lack of resource, aka challenge, roadblock that's going to hinder you from executing that task, when you write it down, it's so much easier to just write the solution next to those surface things that you need, okay? But when you write down things that are a lot of times what you can work on internally as a human being for your inner growth, such as imposter syndrome, fear of rejection, okay, poor time management, lack of discipline. When you write that down, you are identifying what you can do to help your internal and personal growth. Okay, exactly. Thank you so much, Miranda. So once you write that down, right, once you identify it, it's easier to solve that problem. It's just that when you go to a doctor, if you can articulate how you're feeling, then the doctor can diagnose the problem and give you a prescription. But if you don't articulate how you're feeling, you may have an idea, but you can't articulate it clearly, then it's very difficult for you to ask yourself or to diagnose or prescribe the solution. So the fear of rejection, okay, fear of rejection is one. Fear of being judged is another one, right? Imposter syndrome, another one. Lack of time, another one. So lack of time, I do not have the time to do this, okay? So what's the solution? Can I look at my schedule and find the time to make it happen? Because if you are pondering, can I find the time? The answer is always yes. The question that you should be asking is, do you want to find the time? Prioritize the time. So if you are unsure about the answer, right, go back to your why. What happens if you don't get it done? And what happens if you get it done? That's why the very first step is to list down the consequences. Okay, if you don't get the task done, what's going to happen to you and your business? So you got to go back. So now you go back, you see that, okay, if I don't get this done, my business is going to suffer. But I really cannot find the time, nor do I want to do it. So you identify, do not judge yourself, okay? Don't judge. Just write it down. And then don't judge yourself as I'm lazy and I really hate social media. Don't judge. Just write it down. And then now you identify it. It's like, okay, What can I do about it? You don't have the time to do it, so hire somebody else to do it. Okay, that presents another problem. Okay, where can I find the resource, as in financial resource, to hire someone? So you see, every time you write it down, another challenge pop up, and then you identify that challenge until you find a solution to solve that problem. This is how I work. This is how I think. This is how I teach. And when you use this thought process, you will be able to overcome every single challenge that comes into your life and your business. Hey, Yanka, thank you for joining me on Instagram. So that's one of the problem, right? Imposter syndrome, fear of judgment. Why? What happens if somebody judge me and say that, hey, you don't know how to speak. Hey, you don't know what you're talking about. Fear of rejection. Wow, this person or somebody make some comments on your social media and it hurts you. So you're gonna ask yourself, okay, I feel hurt. What if somebody don't like what I say or present? So you're gonna start thinking, right? Okay, somebody say that she doesn't know what she's talking about. How is that going to affect you? Then you have to ask yourself, what that person say to me, does it really make an impact? What about the other people who's enjoying my content? So are you going to let this one person stop you for showing up for your business? So you have to ask yourself these questions. So what I'm trying to drive to here is identify those things that you may not see on the surface, okay? That you may not see on the surface, but you have written it down, and you are what we call self-coaching. You're self-coaching so that you can show up for your business. Go back to your why. If I don't do it, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen if I were to do it. So once you identify those inner problems, or not the surface problem, immediately you are not going to be blindsided when you're tackling that task, okay? If something like that do happen, those emotions come up, you already identify them. So you're prepared. It's like going to war. You have your armor up already. So it's no longer going to, I'm not going to say that somebody's going to say something bad about you on social media, it's not going to hurt. It's still going to hurt, but it's going to hurt less, okay? So I want you to be fully prepared for that, okay? Again, with everything that you articulate or write down, identify it, don't judge, and then give a solution, give an answer next to it, okay? That is going to serve you. Please, you do not need to judge yourself worse than how the world is judging you. This world is judgmental. We don't have to subject ourselves to more of self-abuse, okay? All right, so now you have identified what your resources and what are the things you need, right? So you have already identified that, and then you already found the solution to tackle those things that you need. Then we move down to the next step, which is implementation. Now, this is the part that a lot of people do not take the next step, because that fear of failure is still there. The fear of judgment, the lack of time, not making priority. Okay, they can do all this homework and then they will be stuck in the consumption mode. They will be stuck in the perfectionism mode. Okay, so that what all they do is consume, make it perfect, and then they don't implement. They do not execute the task. Okay, so a lot of times what happened is, because they're seeing the task as a whole chunk, what I want you to do is to break the task into mini tasks, okay, when it comes to implementation time. So to create a social media presence, what is the very first step? You have to, first step, create the account, right? So you are going to create the account. That's the first step, that you can take action on that and get that one step done. I want you to start getting to the habit of checking off mini tasks, because that goal of taking action is more important than the goal of achieving the goal, because you need to be able to feel motivated and accomplished while you are during the process of achieving that goal. Because if you don't have this little burst of success, okay, which is, I got this thing done today, I created my account today, I feel so accomplished, then the next day you're more motivated to start looking for content to write. And then the next day, you're more motivated to create graphics for your content. And then the fourth day, now you already created your social media account. Second day, you research on the content. The third day, you do the graphic. The fourth day, you're ready to post. Okay, so you see, I broke it down into a step-by-step mini task. So it's not like one big task. I need to be visible on my social media. That's very vague. Okay, so break it down into mini tasks. So it's not eating the whole elephant in one sitting. Okay, so start to implement. All right, do not be stuck in the perfectionism zone or the analysis paralysis syndrome. All right, so here, after implementation, okay, the most important thing that I want you to pay attention to is it's not just getting it started. A lot of people can get it started, but they don't finish. Okay, they do not finish. So in this case, social media content creation, showing up on social media is a never-ending job. When I say finish, what I meant is at least you started your account, you create your content, you identify your audience, and then after that, you create graphics, and then you post. Job done. Okay? So you want to be able to implement the whole process. After you implement, what next? You go to audit. You got to audit your result. Go back and start thinking through the whole process. Which part can you do better? Did you take a long time to create the content, to look for content? Did you overanalyze things? Did you overthink things? How can you make it shorter? How can you make it less painful for you? How can you make it more pleasurable for you? Which part do you really dislike that you can delegate to someone else to do it? Which part you really like that you can continue to do it yourself? What day of the week is best for you to do this without distraction? You want to be able to audit your whole process so it will be easier for you to do it the next time. Okay, so it's no longer a drag. So it becomes like part of your CEO work that you need to do, creating content, showing up for your business. So you want to be able to audit your process. In addition, auditing the end result. Okay, I posted already. All right, start seeing whether is there any interaction. Now, don't be discouraged when it comes to social media, because sometimes it takes a while to get any form of engagement. Okay, so don't be discouraged. A lot of times results takes 3 to 6 months to happen. So you have to consistently show up to do it. And this whole thought process and implementation and auditing is the most important part at the end to create the juice, the motivation for you to continue to go on. If you ever lose sight, why am I still doing this? Nobody's engaging. I don't have enough likes. I don't have enough comments. Just know that there's a lot of silent watchers out there. Okay? There's a lot of people out there who watch silently. And just like here, my Facebook eyeball show quite a few people watching me, but there's only a few handful that say hi. Okay, so don't feel discouraged. You will need at least 3 months, okay, of consistently doing one activity to be able to collect enough data to tell yourself, should I be doing this or should I not be doing this? Okay, so to summarize the process, first step, identify the task that you want to do. Second step, write down your why you want to do it. What happens if I were to do it? What happens if I don't do it? How is that going to impact my life and my business? Okay. Identify the resources that is needed to execute the task. Not just the surface resource, but your strengths, your inner strengths. Okay. Identify the resources that you are lacking. After you identify the resources that you're lacking, the surface and the internal, you are going to write a solution next to it. Okay. And then implementation and then audit. All right. So hopefully today's tutorial gave you an insight of how my brain works. And hopefully you'll be able to start adopting this thought process as well and start practicing. it may seem very tedious at the very beginning, but once you're used to doing it, it becomes a second nature. Okay? If you have enjoyed today's tutorial, please share with anyone you know, especially in the events field, about what we do, what we teach inside our Facebook group. Ask them to follow me on Instagram. Ask them to join my Facebook group, because our goal is to be able to impart knowledge on how to build a business, because there's so many people out there teaching you the skill set, how to be a planner, how to be a decorator, but there's not enough informative education that is teaching people how to build a business. Okay, so that would be a great way to help me grow our audience and to enable people to live their best life, to turn their passion into profit. Now, before I sign off, thank you so much, Miranda. Before I sign off, I am going to do a quick reminder. Our in-person event is on June 3rd, okay? 2023 is a Saturday. It is our one-day in-person event, 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. There is an in-person option and also a virtual option. The theme this time round is going to be profit on repeat. We're going to be talking about money, okay? We're going to be talking about what does money mean? What does it do for you and your business? What are the unseen things that's hidden inside here that's stopping you from making more money? Okay, we're going to identify that, and then we're going to work on that. We're going to be talking about pricing, right? We're going to be talking about your dream life. How much does it cost to live your dream life? Because if you don't have a dollar amount, how do you know how much money you need to live your dream life? Then how do you know how much you need to work in your business? How do you know how many clients you need in order to reach that income goal? So we're going to work backwards. I'm going to teach you reverse engineering your numbers. Okay, so we're going to learn how to make money, make more money. How are we going to use your money to make more money? How to actually track your sales, how to track your expense, how to track your sales, how to project your sales, and how to use your money to invest in a fashion in a way that is most aligned with you and your money relationship and also to your business, so we can bring more money in. Okay, so that's just a general glance of what we're going to be learning. Anyone who comes to an in-person event has quantum leap their business. If you cannot come, this is in Fort Lauderdale. If you cannot come, there's a virtual option. So we have already finished our super early bird that ended on April 2nd, which is at $397 for in-person. So now we're on an early bird phase until April 30th. Early bird is $497. Virtual is $297. If this is something you want to do, send me a DM. Okay, send me a DM on Instagram, send me a DM on Facebook, or YouTube and LinkedIn. Send me an email, may@events4anyone.com. If you know of anybody who may be interested to come, tell them about it. I'm giving out a referral fee. It's 10% of whatever the ticket cost is. So reach out to me. Let me know you like to come. I like my events to be intimate, so there's not going to be a lot of people there. And if you cannot attend, you can attend virtual. If you cannot attend virtual, just know that you'll get the recording as well, and you get a digital workbook. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you, and I will see you again next Wednesday. Bye, everybody.